6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What do you got cooking over there? There we go.
That was from last week. Sorry.
Last week. All right.
Yeah,
so,
last week
hey everybody.
I had
welcome.
You weren't here,
welcome.
I had to trigger.
I was not. All right. See, that's how you're gonna start the show. That I wasn't there. Okay.
No,
yeah.
you weren't there.
I
You're
was
here
yeah,
now.
I had the pandemic, so it caught up to me. But hey everybody, welcome nonetheless to the show. It's IFB time, Interfleet Broadcasting. You know, it's our pop culture sci-fi entertainment channel, and it's brought to you by two guys that grew up watching all that great 70s, 80s TV, movies, cartoons, and you guys already know that we're big sci-fi fans.
No,
I'm New York
we're not.
Pete. Yeah. I'm New York Pete nonetheless. Yes, I am. What do you mean, no, I'm not? So this is my buddy, the Tipsy Toaster, and no, it's that way. That way. There we go.
There you go.
That way. There you go. So Chris,
Wonder Twin powers. Whoops, what? Over here. Activate. There we go.
Oh boy.
There's a flashback, right?
That's a good one. Yeah, which they're making a movie of. But
I can't believe that. How could you make
they're making a movie. Yeah, they're making a movie.
The worst
but that's
characters
okay.
in the Justice League? They have to make a movie of them.
Yeah, of all the characters. Yeah, you couldn't do it with somebody else, but that's all right. We'll see. We'll see what that's about. I'm glad to be back and in shape. Last time there was audio. I was on the phone. It was a mess. I was coming out of the the Corona situation, and I'm glad that I'm okay. Corona. Yeah. So it's still going around. But anyway, guys, welcome.
You skipped
to the
decontamination
show.
was the problem.
That's the problem. That's a bad thing. So I'm looking to see who's up and chatting. Let me just put up a welcome to everybody, because we got a guest in the green room, and we should have John 1 with his report. Is John 1 up? Where is
Working
he?
on it.
Our news anchor, right? He should be somewhere in there. So, right? I mean, he's always on time. I don't know what happened to him, but we'll make sure that John.
Oh, that's just it. Yeah, just stab him.
John, where are you? Are you lost in space, John?
There he is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right, good. He's on. Well, you know what?
Him.
It's
alcohol time.
It's alcohol time, and we're gonna thank Fran, we're gonna thank Brigitte, and we're gonna thank Dave for treating us to drinks tonight. Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm gonna refresh. Pete? Oh, you know what I got? I got something that you actually dropped off, and it's the pecan ale. Look at that.
Definitely a fall beer, and not really a
not a summer beer.
Not a summer beer.
Well, guess what? It's going down the hatch tonight. One way
Doesn't matter, right?
Doesn't matter. Nope. So, hopefully, I can keep up with you guys.
All right. And mine tonight, I figured, since Maverick just came back out.
Yeah.
And everybody's raving that it's really good. So I had to do I wipe the sweat off of it.
Yeah, do that.
I had to get a alcoholic beverage that kind of did a homage to it. So I'm having Voodoo Ranger Juice Force IPA. New Belgium.
What? What is that?
Voodoo Ranger.
Voodoo Ranger.
Juice Force IPA. It's a hazy Imperial IPA. And it's
Sean's with us live, says seen Maverick twice.
It's 9.5%, so maybe I'll see Maverick tonight without going to the movies. Anything written on the side here?
Is John 1 on? Is he? Hey,
John 1's there. Chill.
Okay, 'cause I got a message that I got a cryptic message.
What? What's the cryptic message that you have?
Oh, it's a cryptic message from our very own John 1, and he's like, "You have Chris's address?"
No. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Hey, George.
Let's not put the address out over the air.
No, let's not do that. Cool beer. That's mine.
It is a cool beer.
Hey, George, is it mine or is it Chris's that's cool? Which one is it?
It's 9.5% alcohol. That's what's cool.
All right. Well, you know what? Okay, since you're talking a lot of smack, mine's 5.2% alcohol. Yeah. What? So what? What about it now?
Well, at least it's more than most of your ciders were.
See, you had to be disrespectful.
Got to disrespect the cider? I bought you a cider that's high in alcohol. That'll be bring up to New York.
Okay, so George says the Cylon. So I'm out of the game. Let's go. Ready? Let's do this.
Ready?
1, 2, 3. Ah! Almost broke the bottle, man. All right, ready? Let's do this. I'm going to right up against the mic. Ready?
Ready.
Oh boy! Wow.
Boy, this is really clear compared to most of my stouts.
No, mine's like a not. I wouldn't say dark, but it's. So,
No.
Oh, it's like acid. Is that like acid rain all over your
well, at least this week I didn't spill it in my lap.
Oh boy, I saw it in 2D and in 3-screen version. Look on my Facebook page. I showed the start of the movie. Oh, Carl Cullenschmidt. Carl, thanks for joining us. Jeff
Carl,
Walters.
did you just admit to recording the movie at the movie theater?
No.
There'll be a black van pulling up outside soon.
That's right. Ovion's honey is the best in the fleet. That's correct, Jeff. It's Jeff Walters for you. Sound off, guys. Make sure you. All
right. So we got a lot of people here tonight. I just saw.
Hell yeah.
Baz is there, so.
Welcome.
Baz is still working pretty hard on the Viper now. He sold a bunch of his knives. He still has one Hunter knife for sale. Cool. So if you look at my Tipsy Toaster page or look at his Builds by Baz page, you'll see it. It's a beautiful looking knife that
oh heck yeah,
somebody would really appreciate for Father's Day, I am sure.
Oh, for sure. Paul Roeder's on with us from the West Coast out there, up in Seattle. Is it? Paul Roeder is Commander Kane, founder.
I think it's Seattle,
and he's
up in that rainy area.
Facebook page, founder, moderator. Well known and distinguished in all the Battlestar Galactica fan groups. So thanks for joining us, Paul. Really appreciate it. Michaela, ooh, knife. Oh, Michaela wants to know about knives.
No, you don't.
Somebody's gonna be short.
Kyle, let's put it this way. Evil K would love that knife, by the way. But
there you go.
You'll have to look up on the Tipsy Toaster page. You'll find it.
By the way, mediocre modeler, cheers with the Aces Pineapple Ale.
That's
Sounds
okay.
Like
that's
South
okay
Alaska. One. Is that what it is, Paul? South Alaska. Well, anyway, guys. Yeah. It's a cheers to our fans.
Yeah. So we always love to toast our fans. If you're new here, we are a pop culture sci-fi. A couple of guys got together, figured if we're going to talk about it, why not let the world listen to us talk? And invite people to talk about theirs. So we like to support people who create the worlds, create the fandoms, and live in the fandoms like we do. And yes, we live in them. We do. The stuff we buy, the information we do, we study. We know more about a lot of our shows than most of the stars do. And then we love to talk to people like we're going to be doing tonight, like writers and authors. People who are behind the scenes, people who created the environments and are creating new environments for us to live in every single day. So this is to you, to the fans, and as we always say, fans fuel the fleet.
Fans fuel the fleet, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's good. I like it.
That's
I like
good.
mine.
I'm not a hazy IPA guy, but there's enough alcohol in that tastes good. Yeah,
oh man!
I guess that's why they made how many ounces is this? It's a big one.
Oh God, yeah. I think you're not. I wonder if you're going to make it tonight.
24?
Guys, remember we're going to be doing Armageddon.
19.2.
We're going to do this later. Okay, calm yourself. Armageddon.
I wasn't
Battlestar
done talking.
Galactica, Armageddon. I thought you were. We got
go ahead. I'm done now.
Okay. Now,
I'm done now. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So how many times do you want to talk about the beer again?
Go ahead.
Talk about the beer.
Now.
Yeah. 19,
go ahead.
19.7%.
Yeah, go ahead, 18, talk. Are you going to talk?
18.76.
Hang on, Pete. Ready? Go ahead and talk. Now nobody can hear you. That's right. Chris has the mute button. Matter of fact, Chris can do this too. Later. I control the horizontal. All right, we'll let you back. Even though you're colonial.
Meanie, you're a meanie.
I have control.
You're a meanie.
I have control issues. How's that?
Yes, that's what it is. So, we got John 1, and he's prepped and ready to go. And
are we sure?
I think so. And there's a whole bunch of other things that we're going to talk about. I got
Hey,
some
John, you're going to move that camera down a little bit, unless we want a chin shot. Oh, that's a little. There we go.
That's way better.
That works.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of things to talk about. So
you want to run through that, or you want to just get John 1 on?
No, let's get John on, man, and then we can talk about some of the other collectibles and some of the other things. It'll be a perfect segue. However, you know what we're gonna do? Let's do the classic setup. Let's have John 1. Let him rip apart some of these things that are coming up on TV, movies, comic books, and the rest.
Okay.
And then let's bring on our guest, because I want to talk about writing and books and military sci-fi. As a matter of fact, John 1 was instrumental in inviting him to the show.
Yep. Thanks, John. And here's John.
Hello, everybody. We've got some upcoming shows and some reviews. First up is AMC's Moonhaven series. It's set in a utopian colony on the moon. That's where all the rich people go when the Earth's falling apart. And people are coming up to try to save it. So they might hold the key to saving, preserving life on Earth. So it's one of those haves and had-not sci-fi shows. So that should be on AMC, July 7th.
Hey, at least that's a channel I have for once.
Next up, I'm looking forward to this show. I'm really looking forward to it. We got some more news about this Acolyte series coming on Disney+. It's an interesting new details emerged. An Acolyte, a ministry theater that will take place 200 years before the Skywalkers came on. So it should be should be good. Acolytes are the dark side's Padawans, so I guess they're the students. So we're gonna have some.
So they're the
famous,
students, or are they the?
Acolyte is a student to the Dark Lord.
Gotcha.
The Sith Lord. So it's gonna be like a student. Like Jedis have those Padawans. These guys have acolytes. So if you're paying attention to Star Wars canon, you'll see like Darth Revis, Bane, Darth Nihilus. So it's going to be really good. I'm looking forward to this series. They're still in development. It should be ready by next year. And another one is Hayden Christensen wants his own Darth Vader series.
Oh boy, no kidding.
Yeah, he's trying to gun for a Darth Vader series, but it would have to be a really good series, like from the comic book series, like when Darth Vader and the Emperor went after the Admiral or one of his best friends. It has to go like in one of those canon stories. It's got to be good.
You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah.
Where's the Jar Jar Binks story?
Oh,
we got to have the Jar Jar story.
Star Wars fans don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, Temuera Morrison is hinting at another series for Boba Fett. He wants him to get back to his bad days.
Yeah.
One series too late. Hopefully there'll be a second season, and I want to see him do like, a bounty hunter stuff and just be ruthless, and that's what you want. That's what Boba Fett is. But
isn't that what
we want to see?
Mandalorian is doing?
He's for the third season.
Yeah, I think that's what the Mandalorian was. Just so
it's doing the same thing. I guess Boba Fett is worse than the Mandalorian. I don't know. But that's what he was saying in an interview the other day.
Yeah.
And also now coming up on
tougher.
Yeah, Amina tougher at Temura else instead of getting his now has his throne. He's a Dark Lord of Tatooine. Now he can go out and do bounties and do like the bad stuff now.
We'll see.
I figured that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
But all these Star Wars and Star Trek series, people are going to get tired out. They keep burning them out. There's a great series out, about these poor robots who were enslaved by these horrible humans, and they stand up and they fight against them, and they chase them across the colony, the galaxies. But hopefully
like Battlestar. I'm gonna go with it.
They'll do something about that series.
Exactly.
Battlestar Galactica from the Cylon point of view.
Yeah. How they get their third brains.
That's it.
And now coming up on Hulu is another Predator series, Prey, which should be on Hulu.
I might have to get Hulu.
August 5th coming out. It's about a Comanche warrior, and the Predator comes down and hunts the Comanche Native Americans. And this is from a female point of view, so it should be good.
You know what's cool about this one? Is they also put the audio will also be in Comanche. So you can actually have it in English, and then they also dubbed it for Comanche.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
That's gonna be good.
I remember where this comes from when they did the book adaptation for the movie. There was one of the characters in the team with Arnold is a Native American, and you don't see, like, there's not much of a backstory in the movie with him, but in the book it mentions that he recalls like these legends from his people, and that there was this creature or something out there that would, like, that they had encountered through the ages, and that's basically all it is. And it's like, whoa, what the heck's that supposed to mean? And then now here's the movie. It's about time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. It's going to be on Hulu, August 5th.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. And Thor, Love and Thunder is coming out. That's going to be good, July 8th. And I think Christian Bale plays the God Killer. He plays the bad guy. And plus, who's the other one? What's the other Thor? The one with the horse face. Who's that guy's name?
Oh, that one, yeah. Okay.
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah.
Beta Ray Bill should be in it.
Gatorade Bill?
Yeah.
What?
Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, Gatorade Bill.
Oh my God! You need to stop drinking right now.
Never heard of Gatorade Bill with a horse face.
The next one is the Joker. Joker 2 is still coming out. They just signed Lady Gaga on. I don't know if this is a prank just to promote the show, but I don't know. But she's going to play Harley Quinn, and they're going to make it a musical.
Oh, no.
What?
A musical?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's nuts.
I hope that's a joke.
It's got to be a joke, because can you see them singing along when they're on a crime spree? And,
my God! Please no.
She got to keep those high notes when she's shooting people.
What a train wreck that's going to be!
Oh, please let that be a colossal gag. I'm getting tired of paying this good money to go see a movie and walking out.
No kidding.
That's one of those movies you don't take the chance on. You just wait for it to come out for free somewhere.
Oh, heck yeah!
Yeah, I did that a couple of times for I did that for the Batman. I waited for it to come on HBO Max. Yeah.
She can see Joker.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah. Yeah, Carl. Absolutely. Good one.
I didn't want to get woke up by the cleaner.
Joker.
Oh no!
So I fell asleep at home instead. And next up is Paper Girls is finally coming. That's a graphic comic book, that series that was from 2016 to 2019 about a bunch of female paper girls in 1988, and they were delivering their papers, and then they get involved in some kind of squirrel between two warring time travelers, and then they go through time trying to make things right. So that's coming on Amazon next year.
That's interesting. Speaking of that, there is a friend of ours that is directly involved in a graphic novel. She's one of the main characters in the graphic novel, and it's been picked up as a series. So next time we come on the show, I'll divulge who it is. I'll tell you all what the name of the graphic novel, it's a series that's been out, and we'll see about getting her on the the writer artist of that graphic novel. We'll talk about getting her on our show, especially since they bought it and they it's in production as a series as we speak. So that reminded me of it. So a lot of good movies and TV comes from they come from directly from graphic novels. Chris and I remember we were talking about The Boys and how crazy that is.
Oh, that's on tomorrow too, episode 5.
Oh, yeah. I've just binge watched seasons 1 and 2,
it's nuts.
And I've caught up with 3. So
yeah, it's nuts, man. That series
is a crazy show.
Insane. Oh yeah.
And tomorrow, Lightyear's out in theaters, so I'll go see it. That's Pixar. And today, cool. Tim Sales passed away today. He was a comic book writer for Batman.
Oh, no way!
Oh, wow.
He was a good writer, but also on the comic books, I had a quest for a couple weeks ago to find a comic book for Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking around and up and down, and people didn't believe me. I think I had my phone to show them, like, "Hey, I told you." But I did come across it. I was speckless. I was speechless. My friend at the comic book store didn't have words. Didn't know we had it, but we couldn't get the comic book, so we got something a little better for you. Anyway.
Oh wow!
We got a bridge version of Airwolf. So.
Oh, what?
That's the ones I was looking for.
Yeah, that's it. Out of Lion Force Comics.
Yep.
So
those weird comic book companies.
Yep, there they are.
Oh boy.
Nice graphics in it.
Oh wow.
So that's so cool.
Pretty good.
Oh boy. I was a huge Airwolf fan.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Oh boy, that's awesome. That is cool.
That's why I sent Pete that cryptic message. I was going to send it out to you tomorrow.
Oh, look at that. That's so freaking cool. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
So.
Who would have thought they did an Airwolf, right?
Nice job.
So.
Yep.
That's pretty good. Right from the 4. I don't know if they're still open now, still around. The Lion Force comic. I don't know if they're still around. But
it was one of those weird off-brand comics.
Yep. I couldn't believe he had it. Even the guy at the comic book store couldn't believe it.
Oh wow!
I've never seen that before, and I didn't. It's at my house.
He was like, "Let me take a look," and he was like, came back speechless. Like, I can't believe I had this. I'm like, "Oh, you need a comic? Go to Fourth World Comics in Smithtown, New York. They got everything."
Where was it?
Fourth World Comics in Smithtown, New York.
Fourth World Comics, Midtown.
Yep. In Smithtown.
Smithtown. Okay.
Yes.
That's all I had. That's John 1. So I'll see you again next time.
All right,
thanks, John. Outstanding.
And
by the way,
thank you very much for finding Airwolf.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah. Mediocre Modeler says, way to go, John. And Baz from Down Under says, by the way, I now have all the fiberglass mat and body coat resin I need to skin the hull of the Viper. All I need now is time to spend on it. Way to go, Baz.
Everybody donate 1 hour of your life to Baz so he can finish it. Can we do that? Is there like a an app that we can
There was a movie where you could your time left on live was on
what
your
movie was
forearm,
that? I remember that one. Yeah, you could donate actually, time.
Donate time by
So we need to donate time to get it done.
You had to get
wasn't that Free Jack with
It might have been Free Jack. Now the book, I just reread. I just re-listened to the book that was based on Free Jack, which is not the Mick Jagger show.
No, it wasn't. That's correct. No. It was not. Well, speaking of books, guys,
thanks, John.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it. So like I was saying, Chris, we, talking about books, we really, really like getting authors on. Our fans are all into, various aspects of the writing process. As a matter of fact, we have Professor Eric Paddens with us. Thanks for joining us, Eric.
Oh, is he on tonight? Cool.
Yeah, he's on. He was on. And I'm looking for Lola. I haven't seen Lola. And Sean from Battlestar Bulletin Board. He's a writer himself. But in the wings, we have someone that's involved and prolific in his writing. Chris and I, right? We've actually done the audio on 2 different books that he's written. We have G.P. Hudson with us, and he's a military sci-fi author. And he's known for the Pike Chronicles and a whole bunch of other series and books. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff out there. It's really cool stuff. So he's here with us. So let's get him on and have him tell us all about, what it's like to get involved, because he's a sci-fi fan too, which makes everything that much better.
Oh yeah. All right, we need a drum roll or something here. Hang on. Ta-da. And let me turn his microphone on. It didn't come on. It didn't come on. There we go.
Press the button.
Now we're set.
All right.
Hey guys.
Welcome, G.P. Hudson. How's it going, man?
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Good. How are you guys doing?
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks.
You have a whole bunch of books, and like we told everybody, I've listened to one. I discovered audio more or less through the Tipsy Toaster, my buddy Chris, because he's big into audiobooks. So we kind of split it up. I took one, and then Chris took another one. And I thought it was great. I mean, I really enjoyed the character, like your the protagonist Pike in Soul Shall Rise, which is book 1 in the Chronicles. Chris, which book did you read? Or
I did Fall of the Terran Empire. I did 11 and a half hours of wonderful storytelling from audiobooks. So, and it was great. It reminded me of so there's the I don't want to give it away, but there's a kind of I don't know if it was a nod on purpose, but if you look at it in regards to military science fiction, there is a kind of a nod to Space Above and Beyond type deal. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it was amazing. I think it tells a story of how clones who were, treated as second-class citizens in regards to just their battle bots. Really, they're Cylons. You send them out and they do their job, and the humans don't give anything about them, and they kind of get a conscience, and they kind of rebel. And there's a lot of other stuff that goes in behind it in regards to a political thing that goes on where Earth is on its way out because of different Civil War type things that are going on. And I don't want to give it all away, but great book. I enjoyed every minute of it. It's one of those ones that you sit there and you think, you can actually see it as they're saying it or as they're reading it on the thing. And it was just a really well written book. And I hate to have to say it is Mr. Hudson. It was amazing. I really did enjoy it.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks.
Yeah.
And that's if everybody wants, hang on, I just do this. And there it is right there. So Fall of the Terran Empire. And that gives you books 1 and 2. For if you're an Audible member, you get it for like $14. But you do one credit.
John 1 actually read War Without End, so he's a fan as well. So GP, tell us about this. Tell us, walk us through how you got started. Like, what's your motivation?
Well, like you guys, I've been a lifelong sci-fi fan. I mean, I grew up watching like Captain Kirk, and everything all the way through, and big Battlestar Galactica, the '70s version, and then the reboots. Yeah, watched them all, loved them all. Anything sci-fi I could get my hands on, and but I also like to read growing up too, reading sci-fi and fantasy, and other things as well. But when I sat down to write, it was always kind of in me, if that makes sense. I used to write a bit in university, but life got in the way. And then when I finally sat down to write, just sci-fi came out. Came out, and I just wrote, what I would want to read. That's the easiest way to put it. Is so based Yeah, I mean, a nod to Space Above and Beyond. I watched that in the '90s, loved it, and so many things that kind of get lodged into your subconscious, and then when you sit down and you start telling stories, they just come out. You don't even know half the time where they're coming from, if you know what I mean. They just come out,
Wow.
right? Because it's all part of your life, right?
Right. So that would be my kind of question. Do these come? Do you like sit there and go, okay, well, I got flashcards and I'm gonna, this is my plot line and everything else, or do you just sit down and it just comes out?
It comes out. I have a lot of friends that do what you just described,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish I was more like that because it would make life a lot easier. Like to just be more, but yeah, it just. The first scene in my first book, the first book I wrote was Soul Shall Rise, right? And the first scene that it starts off with is just this guy John Pike who's just kind of waking up, and he's in the middle of a crime scene. Right, there's another guy. He doesn't know who he is. He's getting strangled, and and there's a gun pointed at him, and he doesn't know what's happening. And when I sat down and started to write it, I honestly thought it was going to be a crime novel. And then all of a sudden, there was a hollow emitter, and it just turned into sci-fi. I mean, that's just what came out, and then the story just started to take hold, and all these things that you sit in your life and you think, what if this and what if that, and you have all these ideas, and then they just come out. So the premise in the Pike Chronicles, for example, is Earth is invaded by aliens and conquered, and so the scene that it starts 500 years after Earth's been conquered and Earth's just been liberated by another alien race. And John Pike is a military guy who grew up in the resistance on Earth while it was still occupied. And Earth and humans are just trying to get their footing, and they're being dictated to by this alien race that saved them, but now kind of like dominates them, but not in a conquering way. But and they're constantly under threat from this other race that conquered them for 500 years, and they're trying to find their way, and they're trying to find also there's colonies that they had 500 years ago that were lost after the conquest, and they're trying to find them. So that's a little BSG influence, I guess. When I was writing it, I didn't think BSG, but I'm talking about it now, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's PSG. There's some PSG there. So then and that's how it starts. And then there's technology, and there's all sorts of things. And John Pike is part of this kind of galactic prophecy. So there's all these different elements. And in the beginning of Soul, he's a bit of an anti-hero. He's kind of he's down and out in a lot of ways. He's been through a lot of war. In the liberation wars, he lost his family, and he's just really. It starts off so he's not very likable, I don't think, when he starts off, because he's kind of rock bottom, but he's got to climb his way out. And that's what makes it kind of fun, or I hope so. I hope it makes it fun, but it's the challenge, and he redeems himself at the same time as he's redeeming Earth, and getting Earth to make a comeback, if you will, in the galaxy, right? So
man, he was
books later.
Yeah.
Well,
you've got 12 books on in this chrono. Is number 12 the final one? Or are you looking to do more?
No, I thought I'd show. No, here's number 12 right here. I just
yep.
The pandemic got in the way of that one. Oh, there it is. There you go. So that's number 12.
Wow.
A little shameless plug. But the pandemic got a little bit in the way of productivity, and it took me a little bit longer than normal to write it. But yeah, it's not quite finished yet. Still have a few stories to tell in that one. But yeah, I'm currently working on a new series. So completely, a little bit of a different angle, but still sci-fi, but more of an alien abduction type of story, if you will, without giving too much away. The first book's not finished yet.
It's always hard to do interviews. It's like, So tell us about the story so you can spoil it for everyone.
That's right. That's right.
Well, GP,
so what happens in the end, by the way? You know?
Yeah, right. So Pike's character in the first book, he's rough, man. You know, he's a rough and tumble guy, and he goes against everything. So when you say anti-hero, I mean the guy. It's almost hard to really like him. At first, you're like, you know, you give the guy a break, right? Like you set him up, right? You're saying, okay, well, you know, he's got this really bad background, and then, you know, he's given a chance to go beyond who he is and his training and his background, and he manages to do things in a way that are like, really, dude? Why did you do that? Why could you? And it's like it's like a domino of a series of bad things that he does that screw everything up and a lot of things around him. So it was, you know, it's a character that, you know, you're like, wait a minute, why that? Like, so you took the character a totally different way. Like, I thought when he was given his new mission, right? Like, they kind of dust him off and they're like, okay, dude, okay, look, this is what you got to do now. I was like, okay, so he's going to go off on the mission, and I could see a little bit of the Star Trek thing. There was some problems on the ship, and there's this and that, and then all of a sudden it just went sideways like 100 degrees, like 100. I was like, what the heck happened here? Why? Why'd you
I got a lot of flack for that. So here's what happened. When I was writing, initially, I thought what you thought, which is, okay, they've got their ship, and they're just going to go on a bunch of adventures. And, you know, I don't want to give too much away for people who haven't read it, but, you know, that was kind of like when I was writing it, that's what I thought, okay, just like most of the stories that, you know, I've seen or read a lot of the times with regarding a spaceship, you know, and a crew, right? But, you know, it just didn't want to go that way. And the reality is that book 1 and book 2 should be one book, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of one thing but it would have been too big as a single. I mean, I guess it didn't have to. It could have been a single book. But
oh, come on, there's Battlefield Earth. How many pages was that sucker?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I kind of, you know, in the back of my head, I keep thinking of, you know, smartphones and laptops. I said, you know, people just are so distracted that, you know, would they sit with it? But, you know, in hindsight, it probably should have been because his arc, John Pike's arc, is he really kind of starts to just really get going in a more positive, to become a more of a hero in book 2, where he kind of redeems himself. But I don't want to make people think that book 1 is dismal. But he's a rough guy, and part of it is, you know, I thought that when I was writing it, I thought, okay, so here's the scenario of Earth. What would it be like? Okay, if we got conquered by aliens, right? And like ruthless aliens, to the point where, for example, there's characters called the Chanissar, who are basically humans who the aliens basically took children and took them and augmented them with their technology and put brain implants to enslave them and turned them into fierce warriors, which were then used to suppress any revolution at Earth, right, with their own kids, right? So it's really a hard 500 years. So climbing out of that, what would it look like? You know, a guy like John Pike, he wouldn't be like just sunshine and lollipops, you know, growing up in the resistance. And he was taught in the story, you know, through his father and his grandfather, he was taught about real freedom and what it means. So that was pressed into him. And so the current situation in Seoul, where you have a military and a government that's set up, that's basically subservient to these liberating aliens, and John Pike is like, well, we're serfs, we're not, and he doesn't like any of it, right? So, but you know, he's the promised one. So So later on, he makes things happen. But
well, because he's not your typical in that first book. By no stretch of the imagination is he your typical, not even anti-hero, right? I mean, he's got elements of John Carter in him. He's got like a lot of different people, but he's definitely got that dark side of him. So listen, one of the things that I'll bring up now in terms of your ideas and your thought bases and where you pull from. There's another military sci-fi writer named Dan Abnett that writes in the Warhammer 40K world, and he's very well known in that and those in comic book circles and what have you. When I met him, I said to him, "Man, your military sci-fi makes you feel like, for those of us that have served, you got it, man. Like you get that feeling that, yeah, this guy that's writing knows about military stuff. And when you wrote yours, you make it sound like, well, this guy's got some kind of military insight. Is that the case, or where do you go to get that expertise or that extra that makes
that
it
and the technology piece? I mean, where do you get that from too?
Well, I mean, I guess I read a lot, but regarding the military stuff, I'm Canadian, so we're not known for our military like Americans are. So, which I found out, it was amazing to me how many of my readers are veterans. It was just, more power to them. But really, how many emails I got from veterans, and it was really, really amazing. And for me, though, a lot of that stuff comes from just reading. I'm a big history fan. I read a lot about history and battles, watch a lot of documentaries and stuff like that, and just pop culture too. I mean, you pick up a lot, and I do have a lot of author friends who are veterans. One of them, one Marine, he told me about the shower shoe. What they call a newbie, they call them a shower shoe, and so like these little things that the little tips that they give me, which are just great. You just slip them in there, and makes it a little bit more authentic. But so many military sci-fi guys, for example, Colonel Brazi, is a Marine colonel. He writes military sci-fi, great stuff. He's a brilliant guy, and he was like a colonel in the Marine Corps. He's served for I don't know how many years in there. So a bunch of other guys, Richard Fox, another military sci-fi author, and he was military intelligence. He's great. He was great. I was in a writer group with him. We did sci-fi reads. Wow. We were together in that at the beginning of it, and like Richard, I think he was doing military intelligence for 10 years at least. He's been in Iraq. He's been everywhere. In the writer community alone, like the fans, the readers, tons of veterans, but even in the writer community, tons of these guys are veterans, and you learn a lot just talking to them. I mean, it's fascinating.
Well, look, you do a great job. I got to tell you, I assumed that either you had the military background, or you definitely I could see that there was definitely that history background that you're talking about. And I was just curious myself. I was like, maybe he's got friends, or it's probably just that he's a vet himself. So whatever you're doing it well enough that when I did the audio version of the book, I could hear it, see it, pick it up. And I could also tell that you were a sci-fi fan. There's a lot there that I was like, yeah, he didn't get that from just watching a show. Yeah, I bet you this guy's a fan, and it comes through, and it makes it better. It makes what you write, at least your stuff that I'm encountering. I like it, Chris. Right? I mean,
we had
a good time.
I love talking about like it. I said, I love the, in the book I was reading or listening to. I can't say read. I don't read a lot. I don't have time, but I listen to a lot. So hopefully more of the Pike Chronicles comes out on audio. Hint, hint. Anyways, but yeah, it's great. I mean, so the technology that you list in there, and the 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 world building that you do. I mean, do you just sit down? I mean, what's your style? I mean, do you just like do you write in the mornings? Do you just kind of I just does a book just fall into your lap? You have a dream? I mean, what kind of factor or force kind of pushes you towards a new book?
I start with an idea. Like usually I'll see something in my head. So you read Follow the Terran Empire.
Right.
That starts off with the clone waking up.
Right.
And then being given a name.
Yep.
And that
Danny.
name gave him an identity. Yeah, Danny. And so I just kind of like saw it in my head, just, this clone just waking up and just, we're same like I was saying with John Pike. I mean, I saw that. So usually with each book, or better yet, with each scene, I kind of have a little idea or a little vision, and then I just run with it. Although I shouldn't say run with it, because a lot of times it's hard. So I'll brainstorm and try to come using that one thing. I'll try to come up with more ideas, and then try to put them together to kind of say, okay, now I have a direction. I have a goal. I have opposition to the goal. There's conflict, there's tension, there's hopefully a conclusion, or at least leading into the next, challenge, till we get to a conclusion, and just go from there. But a lot of it is you kind of have a general sense of story of how it should go. If there's no conflict, you're just going to put everybody to sleep. So you always have to have something going on, right? Somebody's having trouble accomplishing something in an interesting way, or they're just yapping with each other and making good jokes, and so it's funny to read, which is also action, But as long as the story keeps pushing forward, and there is a main goal that has to be achieved, and a lot of stones in the path to getting to that goal.
You ever find yourself like, ooh, I didn't cover that in chapter 1.
Oh yeah.
I gotta go back and fix that.
That's what edits are for.
Yeah, you find that hole. I mean, it's like, well, why didn't he just do that? I mean, and then you go back and you're like, do you ever, those are the kind of, I mean, how long does it take to go back and edit? I mean, you put your book down, and then it's like, how long does it take to go back and edit it and find those holes?
What happens? I usually find them while I'm writing, because I end up. Which is what's happened like numerous times, is I'll just end up stuck. And I just can't write anything, and I can't think of anything, and I'm just bored. I'm just looking at it, and I guess you could call it writer's block, but I just really, and I realize that there's a problem with the story. So I'll have to delete a big chunk of the book.
Oh,
just go
that must hurt.
Yeah, it's horrible. I save it in case, in case I could repurpose it at some point. But that's happened to me many times, and I've come to realize that if I get to that point, it's a hole in the story. Something is wrong. The direction is not working. If it's boring me, it's going to bore the readers. So it's got to go. And I don't know that I'm bored. I'm just stuck. But then I realize, no, this is not good. I got to get rid of it. And
it's not moving.
And that's where I end up. But I kind of plan in reverse. So what I do is, if you want to know a little bit of the nuts and bolts, is when I write a scene, and that I kind of come up with it, and then at the end of this, after I write the scene, that's when I write my card. So a little summary of the scene with my card, and then as the story is progressing, I can look back at all these little cards, which represent chapters. And then I get a bird's eye view of the story, and see how it's going. And then I can better see if there's, and I also color code them. So for example, red is action, blue is story building, green is twist or turn. So for example, if I'm looking at the story and I see a whole lot of blue, it's a snooze fest.
Wow. Okay.
There needs to be red and green in there. There needs, it needs to be spiced up with action or twists or turns or whatever. If there's too much blue, too much story building, too much explaining, nobody wants to read that. So that I look at that and I say, okay, that gives me an idea what something's going wrong here. So smarter authors than me, most of my friends, do that the right way. They do that first, and they have a bird's eye view of the story, and life is much easier for them. I'm not as smart as them, and I do everything difficult. So,
did you ever go to school for any of this, or is it just something that came to you?
I did writing in school when I was in university. I did a minor in English and writing, and I also wrote for the campus paper, the newspaper on campus. I wrote for that for many years, and then when I decided I wanted to get into writing, I went back to the university and did a couple of creative writing courses to kind of, because it had been about, I want to say 20 years since I had written anything when I decided I wanted to do it again. And I thought, well, do I really know what I'm doing? Maybe I better get a second opinion here before I give it a go. So I went, and I had a great professor, and really put me in the right direction, and things worked out.
So do you do like conventions? Do you go out and autograph sessions and things? I mean, now it's post-pandemic, but is that something that in part of your routine?
Well, as we come out of the pandemic, I do want to get more into that. Yeah, absolutely. 2 years of pandemic. We're up here. I'm in Toronto, in Canada. We were very slow to get out of the pandemic, so we've been just hasn't been too long. So I guess maybe only a few months since we started coming out of lockdown. So there hasn't been a lot going on up here in terms of conventions, and travel to the U.S. has been kind of difficult past couple of years with the pandemic as well.
Right.
But now I think things are starting to loosen up. So yeah, I hope to do a few conventions for sure. Yeah,
that would be awesome. So have you done them on your own? You've been to conventions before.
No, I've been. Yeah, I haven't done them yet. No, but I know I need to do them. Absolutely.
Oh, heck, you do, absolutely, and do the panels as well. So where are your stories taking you? Are you hoping to do screenplays, or would is that something that you would like to do, or does it matter to you in terms of do you see your characters on the screen, whether it's television or movies?
I can see them on the screen. I'm not a screenwriter. I'd like to learn maybe one day. It's, I think, a little bit of a different discipline. I work out of a place. Actually, I work out of an office here in Toronto called the Toronto Writers Center, and we have some screenwriters in there, and they're pretty good. Well, they're very good. But it's a different thing from novels. So I think I'd have to learn a little bit what I'm doing, or get one of them to modify it. But from what I understand, doing sci-fi for the screen is quite expensive. So it's hard to get. It's hard to get a screenplay, a sci-fi show picked up. I know I have a few friends who've had some options on their books, which is probably the way to go. You just option out your book, and somebody else does the screenwriting rather than doing it yourself. Most authors don't do the screenwriting. I don't think it's a specialized, more of a specialized thing, I believe. But yeah, I think it's sci-fi tends to be a little bit more, even with CGI. I think it's still kind of big budget, and from a profitability standpoint, I don't know if producers how quick they are to grab it, unless it's really famous, and then I think
okay, well, and that makes sense. All of that you said makes a lot of sense, and sometimes there's that suspension of belief. Everybody thinks that it's easy to make that jump. It's like, well, you have a successful book, it's a line and the characters, and so then just make a movie. But how about a graphic novel?
See, that's another great idea. Yeah, you know, I was fascinated. What was it again? Ah, the author, he slips my. He's a famous author. Carnival Row, I believe, was one of his, or American Gods.
Oh,
What's the author's name? I can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
He
something.
had a famous comic, a famous graphic novel. Was kind of a horror, I believe. Um, anyway, I was reading that, and I thought it was pretty interesting. At the end of it, he showed and it looked very much like a screenplay. He showed the script and the instructions for the
Neil
artist, for
Gaiman.
the illustrator, Neil Gaiman. That's it. That's it. Great
Thank you,
writer.
Fran.
So
Fran,
yeah, and
Fran
I
is
was
GP. We
sure.
have
Go ahead.
Fran Severin is with us, a big supporter, and a previous guest on the show is also a published writer and author, and so she's the one that came up with our answer. So yeah, I mean that's you just went to like the very top. Like Gaiman is at.
Yeah,
I mean he's just got a new show and he's done things and graphic novels, and you went to like the best example of.
yeah. Well, I was fascinated at seeing the script, and just the same way that in a screenplay you kind of give instruction to the actors and the camera, I guess, and the director, whatever. Um, he was giving instructions to the illustrator there, and I thought that was fascinating. And it
Oh
was
yeah, I
very
mean
similar to a screenplay, the script for the graphic novel.
I could see, as much as I can see your work, like you agreed on the screen, I can see how Pike can make a great graphic novel,
He's dark
especially since
enough.
he's, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what I was going to say. So I think you should
yeah,
consider that because I think he would make
yeah,
a
yeah.
great, especially in light of the world that we're in and what the market actually wants, what they thrive on is your type of a character. So I don't know. I think it's good. I enjoyed it, and I know Chris enjoyed the other series that he had started. Where where are you going now with all this? Where's your trajectory?
Well, I'm working on a new series right now.
Oh,
As I mentioned earlier, yeah. First book is almost finished, just about, and yeah, it's an alien abduction type of book where this guy and his daughter are basically abducted, and find out that there's this whole kind of galactic uh, empire and feudal kind of warlords and all sorts of crazy stuff, mercenaries, and and he's a vet, of course, but no idea about anything, but he's just perfectly suited for this type of adventure, and ready to kick some alien butt.
Sounds like a
that
little bit
sounds
like
good.
Last Starfighter.
I'm hoping it'd be fun. Yeah, kind of like
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
or
similar, yeah.
Jerry Pournell's Janissaries. That's the whole unit gets picked
Yeah,
up. But this sounds pretty
yeah,
cool. I like the twist. Wow, so you got
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
coming out. I'm glad to hear that. You see, you gotta keep cranking it out, and it seems like you got the
Gotta keep
juice and the
cranking.
energy for it, which is fantastic. Oh, by the
Yeah.
way, how long does it take to finish one of your novels from
Too
beginning
long
to
for
end?
me. Yeah.
Too long.
Yeah, in this world, I mean, everybody wants to binge, so it's the algorithms. It's all about the algorithms, right? They
Really?
favor quick releases. Yeah, they get, the faster the books come out, the more, something like Amazon, the more it features them and promotes them, and
Huh.
more visibility they get. So it's a big thing these days, with ebooks anyway. But for me, I want to say, about 4 months, 4 or 5 months to write a book. I'm trying to get that down to 3, but it's hard. If I was more of a
So for,
planner, more of an outliner, I could probably get it down to 3, but I haven't cracked that nut yet.
so from inception, from your mental image that
Hmm.
strikes this, in 4 months, you have a finished first draft?
Yeah, I can have one. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's pretty impressive.
Sometimes it takes me.
Wow.
Sometimes it takes me longer. The pandemic killed it all. It just took forever to write anything. With the pandemic, it put my whole regimen, bent it all out of shape, and it was just a crazy time. So, but under normal circumstances, yeah, under normal circumstances, if things are going well, I can do that. But I know I know
Wow.
people who can write far faster than me, and good stuff. Much. There's so many great writers out there, and so many. There's a story. Stephen King.
Mhm.
He wrote Marathon Man, I think, in 2 weeks.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's like a
So
record almost then. Yeah, that's oof.
yeah. It's just sometimes it
What
comes,
three
sometimes it doesn't.
So, are
three
you a
months
morning
is
writer,
still
afternoon
impressive.
writer? Do you have time frames that you like to write, or do things inspire you to write?
I need copious amounts of coffee to get the juices flowing, espresso preferably, and yeah, it's morning and afternoon. I just try to make it like a work day, and sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. But when they don't work, it becomes more of a brainstorming day rather than a writing day. Uh, but when they work and then the flow is there and the movie's playing in your head, then you can really go.
All right, so then let's get into your zone. Is there a song? Is there a type of paper, a pen? Is that you or not? How does that play out?
I write on a laptop, and the only time I play music is if there's disruption around me that I want to block out. Usually, I like where I write is I go to a place called the Toronto Writers Center, and we have a quiet room in there where all the writers kind of work, and it's just that it's just you hear a pin drop. It's just totally quiet, so it's just
Oh,
intended to
wow.
to get work done. Yeah, just to write. And there's different writers. There's some university professors come in there, do their stuff. There's screenwriters. There's novelists. There was he's not there anymore because he moved, but there was a big playwright that was there. He won here in Canada. He won the Governor General's Award. He's quite well known. So yeah, it's a really good place for that. But if I'm not there and it's not quiet, so then I like putting like on the headphones, and I have to have music that I don't really know. So it has to be kind of
Oh,
mellow. And if I know, because if I know it, then I start getting into the music rather than the story.
makes
Oh,
sense.
wow.
so,
Yeah,
That's
that makes
interesting.
sense.
Okay. Yeah, everybody has
so
their
you
own
know, so
technique. This is cool.
yeah, yeah. Like I like the Stones, for example. I've always liked the Stones. So if I was to put on the Stones, I wouldn't be writing. I'd be just
Be
jamming to the
singing,
music.
right? Be karaoke session.
That's right. Yeah.
GP, we have a question from one of our supporters who's big into the sci-fi and Battlestar Galactica world. Carl says he wants to know: do you get ideas from dreams and have a notepad beside your bed? Beside your bed. I know some people do.
Yeah.
Is that something that you do?
Sure, in the past it would have been a notepad. These days it's notes on my phone, but it's
Oh,
Evernote. I use
okay.
Evernote.
Oh,
I,
okay.
I use the
Oh,
notes on my phone
okay.
and then I
Yeah.
transfer it into Evernote. Yeah, yeah, but definitely I have a whole folder that's just ideas, and I just jot them down. And there's so many in there. I can't even remember probably half of them, but it's a good source to look at sometimes for inspiration. If you're working on it, yeah, sometimes those don't ever throw anything away. That's the one thing, because if you delete a sentence, if you delete a paragraph, if you delete a chapter, if you have an idea, like just save it all. Don't get rid of anything, because you never know. Sometimes you may have to rework it a little bit, but it can be very handy to get you some fuel.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Rob, thanks for joining us. And Chris Laskowski from Down Under in Australia, thank you for tuning in live with us. Appreciate all support, guys, and the questions and comments. So GP, we like, we like what you do. We like what you write.
Thank you.
We like your
Thank you.
series. We'd like you to come back when you're available and you got your next, whatever the next thing is. Is there anything?
Sure.
Is there where can people go? Plug your work. It's worth the time. All military sci-fi enthusiasts, this is good stuff, guys. So go for it.
Yeah, I would say the best place is Amazon. Just go Amazon.com or .com.au for your Australian viewer there, or co.uk for Brits. But yeah, Amazon is the best place. Just go to Amazon, search for GP Hudson. I'll come up, and there's my page right there. You'll see all my books. That is really the best place to have my books. And I actually have. You can go to sffstories.com, and that'll take you to. I've got a free book. It's a Pike Chronicles prequel story.
Oh,
that I'm
cool.
giving away for free. You just gotta. There it is. There, yeah. If you give it's going to ask you for an email address, but yeah, you can get a free copy of that, and that is set in. That is set in the time when Earth is actually being invaded by the aliens. So 500 years before John Pike.
Oh boy, that's cool.
Yeah, and if you read Soul Shall Rise, it explains something that's in Soul Shall Rise that I won't say. So you kind of.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's a small story. It's not it's a short story, but yeah.
Oh, that's very, very cool. Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out, and you're welcome here at IFB. You just give us a heads up. We would definitely open door, especially if you have whatever it may be. So whether you have a new book coming out or whatever's going on, you just shoot us off an email, and let's have you back. We really enjoy your stuff, and we like your work. Chris?
Yeah, thanks for creating cool, awesome stories and worlds for the rest of us to explore and live in. So, I mean, some of us don't have the talent that you do. So therefore, it's great to have somebody who can, help us create worlds in our minds and create the ideas, and maybe they'll inspire us to do other things. So, but I loved your book. I look forward to more audiobooks. I'm a real audiobook guy.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of time to read, unfortunately. So I drive back and forth a lot. So that's my other thing. So whenever you do some more audiobooks, I'm on them. I'll be buying your audiobooks.
Absolutely.
For sure. Efkaristo, GP. Thank you so much, man.
Really appreciate your time.
All right, so again, don't forget, open door policy for you. You come down, you give us a heads up, and we'll talk more sci-fi writing and your stories and your books, man.
Yeah. Absolutely, love to be back again. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
To you, sir. Thanks for creating the worlds.
Cheers.
All right, stay safe, stay well, and continue being awesome. All right, hey, look, man, that's this is what we all enjoy. You know that this is IFB worthy stuff. Getting into the characters and the writing and the styles, and hopefully it'll inspire some of us out here that do dabble and do write. As a matter of fact, Robert Baum, a longtime supporter of IFB and listener, wants some advice on. Would want to continue the tale of an established character which have never been put in a book. I mean, I know I don't have the rights, but years ago I brainstormed the beginning of a sequel to Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. This was before Fury Road came out. I know that it sounds almost a little bit like fan fiction. I'm not too sure. I think it might fall into that realm. I know that Professor Eric Padden and Fran Severn and a lot of the others that are on here might be able to chime in a little bit. Yeah. My personal, from what I've gathered over the years, Rob, would be right. Get it just right, because the process of getting that story out.
Eric Padden said that when he was on last time. It says, it doesn't matter if it's something you can sell or not sell, but if you write, the more you write, the better you get.
And that just gets the juices flowing and gets you out there doing stuff, specifically the writing that can lead to other things. And it could end up helping you write something that's original, that is your own, but all good stories are worthwhile. And
get them out of your head and get them on paper so everybody else can see them.
Right. And, stuff that's like I mentioned, like if it's, I guess if it falls into the category of fan fiction, there is a place for it. There is a home for fan fiction to be put up and enjoyed.
Ask Sean, he's got some great fan fiction out there.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And Lola too. And a lot of the our followers and supporters are writers themselves and have stuff out. And of course, Professor Eric Padden, he's been writing fan fiction and stories and reviews and things for decades. And we're all, we're happy and honored to have all you guys watching, especially, everybody that, takes the time out after the fact, rewatches, and all of our fans around the world that are watching this in rerun. Thank you very much for joining us. We just had the military sci-fi author G.P. Hudson on our show. And we've, Chris and I have read the books. So we enjoyed them. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. What?
I admit it's listened.
Well, it's listened. Yeah.
But the great thing is even if it's listened. So I think the one thing about listening to a book is, you get somebody who performs it. But what I get out of it is I love to hear, not only the performance of the person giving the book, but I get to listen to all the descriptions and all of the, and it sounds weird, and it's probably really weird, but I sit there and sometimes find myself talking the scene out with the, with the book. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm like, it would say, like it's a Danny said this in a, cockeyed, he cocked his head when he said it or something, and I'll find myself cocking my head in the car,
well,
kind of acting it out.
I haven't been listening. I did audiobooks like 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, like right when it's in the beginning, it's started out as being something out there. And I couldn't dedicate myself. I was still doing a lot of my own reading, regular reading. And now I find that, the best way for me to keep up with my favorite military sci-fi books and the like is actually to do the audio, right? I mean, Chris convinced me, and it's the best thing I've done. And it's technically, no, it's not reading, but you've listened to the entire book, and it allows me to be able to, drive and I mean, sometimes we sacrifice, instead of listening to music, you listen to the book. But I think it's great. By the way,
I think Eric's got some really good advice there.
Eric Padden says, if you have the idea, start writing it down at least, even if it takes years to finish. Chris, you need to start the book of Jar Jar. That's right. Right before.
I'll bet you there's some fan fiction out there for Jar Jar.
Oh, there is. There's got to be. There's no question about it.
There's got to be somewhere out there. Absolutely normal, Chris. Thank goodness. I'm not the only one that's out there like, hey, cocked his head and said something, and I'll be like, oh, I just did that, didn't I?
Absolutely.
I love listening to books because I feel like I love singing, and if I get tired of listening to books, I'll bring up the audio and I'll listen to music and sing along, and of course it's the karaoke starring myself in the car. But I think I get something out of a book. I get to be taken to like Mr. Hudson. I mean, we get to be taken to a world that they've created, a challenge that's something that gives you an idea. Wow, wouldn't that be great? Or wow, isn't that cool? Or that's a lot like whatever. Or that's what I really enjoy about listening to audiobooks when I'm driving. At least I get a chance to do that, where I don't get a chance. I have a little bit of ADD. I can't sit at home and there's too much noise, or there's something going on, or there's something to do. I never get a chance to sit down and actually read a book very often, except for Friends. And then I sat down and I blasted through that in one weekend. So.
And then you slept for 2 days.
No.
So, no. Okay. I just maybe thought of that's what you probably did. Like you read for the first time in 5 years and then fell asleep.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I said, I read a lot of technical manuals at work. I mean, a lot of technical.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I write a lot of technical information. And I write a lot of scenes and things like that for training videos, because that's what I do. So I get a chance to listen, I will listen.
Well, speaking of kind of listening, Jeff Walter says Jar Jar is the hero. No. Did you ever finish Loyalty Check, the second of the novels?
Not yet. Working on it.
Okay. So, I wanted to mention that for those that are fans of the original Spider-Man, there is a campaign going on. And the campaign here in New York City, in New York, it's a community-led project to dedicate a statue of Spider-Man in Forest Hills, Queens, and this is what the mock-up looks like. And the website is www.spidermanforesthills.com, and they're getting petitions together to see if they can get together with the Parks Department and the City of New York to actually have this scaled 1-to-1 scale and established in one of the small parks in Forest Hills, where Spider-Man, the character Peter Parker, is from. So I just picked it up at my local.
I was just about to ask, what's Forest Hills have to do with Spider-Man? So now I know.
And that's his. You see, if you put that up, that image there, you'll see that behind Spider-Man is Forest Hills High School, which is not real, but that's where he goes to high school as well. So it's kind of cool.
Never.
And by the way,
so I guess I'm learning something.
Yeah,
there you go. There we go, Pete. Now that's a show.
Royal Collectibles. It's my local comic book shop, and there you go. Check that out. Let's just get a little closer.
Awesome.
That's nasty.
I love They Live. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yes. So the other thing that I wanted to share with everyone, because Chris is such a nerd and a fan of
nerds.
Yes, a fan of Firefly, is this. So everybody that's Firefly fans, check this out. All right? Firefly 20th anniversary special, and the all-new Firefly, The Gospel According to Jane, is going to come out. Let me tell you the dates. So if anybody's out there interested, August 31st is for the 20th anniversary, and the other one's October 19th. So I
will be getting them at my local comic book shop.
Yeah, I like going through the.
Good Lord, that thing's huge.
Yeah, it is. It covers like just about everything. The ones for Marvel and DC are separate. They add those.
Really?
In. And
that's that's what's that one? Just Independence?
Yeah, it's basically all of the indies that are out there. So it's really cool, and it covers toys and stuff, all the graphic novels, and it's just 3 months in advance, so you can order from these things from previews, and support your local comic book shop, guys.
Right. Jane tonight, is the hero.
What was that? Jane was
Mother's Milk.
Hero.
Mother's Milk.
Yes.
Jane is the hero. Pete wouldn't understand that. I'm sorry.
Well, it's a Firefly brown coat thing. I get it. Anyway,
I saw a great shirt the other day for Firefly fans. Wow, say that 10 times real fast. It's like it says, "I'm a leaf on the wind," and there's a big red hole where a spear goes through. Pete wouldn't understand. He'll get it. someday.
No, I don't care. No, I don't care. Thanks. Robert Baum says, "Did anyone ever put out a petition to have a statue of Stan Lee?" You know what? I don't think so. That should probably be there too. So yeah. Oh my God, when we're too shiny. Yes, Fran.
Yay, Fran! Fran and I.
Yeah.
Darn right, baby. It's shiny.
Yeah.
I get all the Firefly all the Firefly comics. I get automatically purchased from my comic book shop, and I go pick them up every time they come out. So I have a stack like that thick of Fireflies.
Dude, you bought
Boom
that
Comics.
you bought that $150.
Yeah,
number?
it's
Was
right.
That was
No, it's not in that. It's not in there. It's it's
you were
over.
You're like, can I see that? And it was like, where do we go? And that was you bought it
over there. It's off to the left, I think. Yeah.
Oh, they saw you coming.
Yeah. Oh, they saw me coming. That thing's awesome. What are you talking about? They saw me coming.
Did you read it? Read it?
I'm afraid to open it. I've got all the comics. I don't need to open it. I've got all of the comics that are in there. It's just one big book. And then I've got the cards that you found for me. So all the cards from the Firefly. Firefly's great. I wish they would have. There's always the rumors that they're going to do another one. It's like, wait a minute, sounds like Battlestar Galactica. Imagine that. But I can say one thing that is not a rumor is we did finally reach out and get a hold of the Battlestar Galactica company that is making I can't remember the name of the company, so forgive me, but they will be coming on the show next month.
Paragon?
No. That's the people who made the game.
Oh boy, that's right.
We have a confirmation that they will be coming on next month. The people who made a new Battlestar Galactica game. So they will be coming on. So that's exciting. I mean, I liked Deadlock, which was a fun game on if you didn't get Xbox or anything like that. And yes, I know it's 2004 for those people who are like, 78's the only one. But it's still Battlestar Galactica, so it was something at least. It keeps the hope alive that I can get some 78 Battlestar Galactica going on. So maybe we can talk to these people and say, you know what? This is a great game, but you know what would make it better? Old Battlestar Galactica would make it better.
Unlock, if you get to a certain level, unlock the 1978. It's Worldwide Studios, Revolving Games, Inc.
Revolving Games, yep, that's it.
Yep, Revolving Games, and they're the ones that are making. Did you tell me it's a turn-based video game?
It seems to be a turn-based. I don't know if anybody's a fan of the old Avalon Hill games. It's a strategy game, so it's not a first-person shooter or anything like that. This is a strategy game, which I like games that make you think instead of just kill. Sometimes the kill thing's fun, but I do enjoy some strategy.
The game, the real series, or the more mutation? Lola, what is up? You made it. We're worried about you. All right. You here all over? No, had no internet today. No worries. So, thanks for joining us.
Her name was Lola. She was I have to have that. That's a normal.
Listen,
we have to have that.
We have a comic book.
Yes, we have another comic book.
Yes.
We're in the last one of the series. The last one from the Liefeld series as well. So tonight marks a sad state of affairs that we finally finally move off of the Rob Liefeld and the Maximum Press Battlestar Galactica series comic books. So and Pete and I have discussed we were going to put it out for a vote, but I think something we haven't done is the very, very, very first series of Battlestar Galactica, I think is what we're going to be going to next, because I have all of them, and I don't have all the other ones he was talking about. So it was easier to go to something I did have.
Yes.
And eventually, I think we'll do some 2004 style, and there's some Battlestar Galactica ones too. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah, what happened?
That happened. That just happened.
What happened?
I lost something on the right-hand screen. So.
Oh boy.
Weird.
I thought you got I thought it was like a UFO that just walked into your.
No, it might have been. I have to sign back into it, evidently.
What is going on in your part of the universe?
I don't know. It's something timed out, I think.
Abductions. I thought you were going to get abducted. All right, so
that's always an interesting thing, though. You know.
Well, yeah, I guess, but yeah, I was impressed with the style and the techniques. Right, G.P. Hudson gave us a little insight and some of his ways of writing and getting the story together, which is kind of cool, and the color coding and stuff, and that's kind of nice. So Chris, I think when you're finished typing and coding and encoding and whatever, we might hit that comic book. Is that part of the plan, the bigger plan?
Yep. Give me a second.
Okay, cool. And don't forget that
switch over.
We intend to get back to chapter 16 in here. It's a good one. It's a good stuff in here. So we'll hit that up and bring you all up to speed. And then, of course, hopefully you guys have all also been watching some of the footage that Chris was able to edit and then upload from Awesome Con. There was the cosplay that he covered, the cosplay contest and all that. So there's some really, really cool cosplay going on, and characters and things that were on stage. Clay Arden, hey, what's up, man? Glad you're here. Yeah, peace conference. Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, so that's going up. Chris actually went to the con, and he took his brand new digital SLR with him. And so he's got some high definition video that he's been, slowly putting together and uploading to the web and Facebook. So stay tuned for that. As a matter of fact, check cash.
Cool.
Yeah, and don't forget, guys, that we are, in the final stages of our own fan film that we're working on over at the Tipsy Toaster Productions. Yeah,
if you haven't checked it out yet, Tipsy Toaster Productions. And also, if you look up on Facebook, you will find, oh crap, it's not the Lone Warrior, it's the Stranded Warrior.
Stranded Warrior
is the name of the fan film that we're putting together. If you find those two things, hit a like on it. I got to put all those things together before IMDb will verify that we have an actual project started. You want to give an update on where that's at?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we successfully completed our shooting script, and that's being reviewed by our production team. So once that is done, we are in the process also of putting together a list of props and then, costumes and the like. We're looking at locations, green rooms and the like. And so it's all coming together, guys. We expect to, have the project done before the calendar year is going to be over. And, at some point we're going to be putting out the call for background extras.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyone that can get themselves to location and is outfitted, you will be. We'll get you in. We'll get you into our fan film. And so yeah, we're looking forward to this. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And it's something I think that we've kind of always wanted to do. And what better, era, place, or world to play in than our beloved Battlestar Galactica 1978. So it's an homage to, our dearly, our really, one of our loves, but it's also a showcase of talent. So everybody we've put together now, we're getting our prop masters, mediocre modeler, and we're working. We're putting together the production team. There's producers on board and the like, and so it's happening.
CGI artists.
Yep, CGI artists. So Lola says, "Hey, I'm free. Awesome." So we're getting there, guys. We'll keep you posted. So actually join up on the Facebook. But I think Chris is now
Tipsy Toaster
set.
Productions, and underneath that, if you look up the Stranded Warrior.
The Stranded Warrior, right? It's the backstory to Martin, guys. If you haven't guessed it,
we figured it was the Lost Warrior. We would homage that one with the name of ours as the Stranded Warrior.
Stranded Warrior, yeah. And we're it's fun. It's fun. It's a good story, and I think we are going to. I think you guys will enjoy it because we're going to have some fun with it. Yep. So, Journey's End, baby.
So Journey's End, and really this is the Journey's End of Journey's End because this is number 4, and it's the final one. This is all done by Rob Liefeld. The previous series before this one was done by Rob Liefeld and Richard Hatch, but this last one has been all Rob Liefeld. So if you haven't been with us recently in regards to what the storyline was, is the Galactica has met up with Elias, which is a ship of lights person, and then they've been to the future, and now they've gone to the past. So this is where we're going into the past, and they're actually the ship of lights, also known as the people from the 13th tribe, according to the book. He sent them to the past right before the attack on all of the colonies. So now they're like, there's the future Battlestar Galactica and the past Battlestar Galactica, and they're both at this point in time trying to prevent the destruction of the colonies. They fail, by the way.
No,
it's a Cylon laugh there.
Yeah.
A Cylon laugh. So we'll kick off the comic with we get the Serena type thing going on, and it's the great thing is in this comic is the not only the pictures and everything else, but the actual almost verbatim written tracks that's on audio from the Battlestar Galactica. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the actual dialogue from Battlestar Galactica is kind of written inside of the comic in a lot of different places. So for instance, this one is I'm Serena coming live from the Caprica Presidium. Also, she mentions that she's from the Caprican Broadcasting Network. I don't know if that was the original one, CBN. So the Caprican Broadcasting Network, so they kind of get this, they've gotten this broadcast, they're picking it up, and this is future Galactica, and so they're like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? We have to stop these people, and of course we also have Kane, by the way. He's in this one as a future Kane. So this book will get confusing if you don't pay attention in regards to what's past and who's present and what's going on. So they're trying to stop the invasion, and Kane's like, okay, so they sent Kane with the Battlestar out to the colonies, and the future Apollo and future Colonel Ty, who is now the president, are trying to convince the past Battlestar Galactica people that what's going to happen, and that's kind of where they left off the last one. So here we are at the peace conference. There's being destruction, and Kane is sending fighters from the future Battlestar Galactica in there to help prevent the destruction of the colonies. But it's kind of too late. All of the other Battlestars have been destroyed, so it is literally left. The only 2 Battlestars are left now. There's the Galactica and the Galactica, the future and the past Galactica. So they're like, what are we going to do? There's no way that they can defeat the Cylons with just 2 Battlestars. So they have to come up with an idea. So there's some destruction on here. Really cool information in here. They're like a complete record of that. So the future Battlestar Galactica came back with a traitorous Cylon on board, and I say traitorous because he he's against the other Cylons, but he's just a machine, and he's got all the information from the original attack inside his memory banks. So inside his memory banks, he has the recall order for all of the Cylons. So the future Apollo and future Kane figure out, hey, we can probably send the recall order and get these guys, get all the Cylons to go back to their base stars. So that's what they do. They talk to the new Cylon here, and they say, hey, look, send out the recall order. He sends the recall order, and the Cylons stop attacking the colonies. But that's just not enough, because there's still a ton of Cylons out there. There's still, they're not going to be able to save the colonies. That's all there is to it. Even with 2 Battlestars, they can't save the colonies. So it's a lot of thinking here, and of course, so they recall it, and of course, the Imperious leader's like, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, what's going on here? Why are they coming back? And of course, Baltar here is in this one too. We get to talk Baltar a lot tonight, by the way, because we have he's in the book too. So
yeah, it's good stuff.
Explain this, Baltar. Why are they coming back? And it's like, because Baltar did see the future Apollo come on board the old Battlestar Galactica. Hope I'm not confusing anybody. To convince them to that the attack was going to happen, but and the Imperious leader's like, you should have killed him right then and there, and it's like, it doesn't work that way, So, anyways, they call off the attack, and now they're stuck. What are we going to do? So they make a decision that that they're going to save the colonists just like they did before. Get in every ship, everything that you can, and let's go. But this time there's going to be more of them, and they're going to be a little bit more prepared because they have a little bit more time. Also, what's funny is they get to bring up Ela. I don't know if anybody remember Ela is. Ela. That's Apollo's...
Adama's...
Adama's wife, Apollo's mom. So she survives this attack because they didn't attack that area. So she comes on board, and he's like, oh, Mom, mother. Can you imagine that? You just lost your mom in this horrible attack many years ago, and then now you're back at this attack again, and she's surviving, and you finally get the chance, and he says it in here, Apollo says it in here, it's like, I've always thought of things I really wanted to tell you before you died, and now I can't think of anything to say that you're here. So that's it goes on, so that they're splitting up. So now they're going to say, okay, all the old Battlestar Galactica, get all the people, head out. The new Battlestar Galactica, or the future Battlestar Galactica, is going to hang back and make sure you get free of the Cylon onslaught. Ooh, what good words. Cylon onslaught. I love that.
Oh, that Cylon looks like the plastic figure, the bubble.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. He does look a little bit like that. So, also in this, Starbuck is alive. Now, in the other one, Starbuck is presumed dead, as always. But so the past Battlestar Galactica Starbuck is leading the attack to help prevent the civilian ships from getting destroyed. So a lot of battles here, but the Cylons, and of course Commander Kane has to get out there. Is Paul on tonight? He probably is. Commander Kane has to get out there and says, "I am. You should know better than to second guess me, Apollo. I may be a little older, but there isn't one Viper pilot out there who's better qualified than me." Doesn't that not sound like Commander Kane? What ego that guy has. So
he's a winner.
Yeah, so they're battling out, and future Apollo is telling his father and a past Colonel Ty and not the President Colonel Ty, which is the future Colonel Ty. That that we're going to cover for you and everything else. So there's a battle going on, great stuff. The missile firing going on a little bit. I wish they had a little bit bigger picture of this one, because it's a good battle, but they only gets us one little square there. So, but there's a good battle part there with this exploding Viper. Isn't that cool? Yeah, baby, blow up Viper.
No, blow up the Cylon base star.
So no, didn't happen. So the
what's the matter with you?
Sorry, it didn't happen. So there is all this going on, and the future Battlestar Galactica has made it to where the past Battlestar Galactica can get away with all of the civilian fleet, but they're going to blow up because they've suffered too much damage from the base stars, and they're getting ready to explode, and Elias from the Ship of Light shows up. Imagine that. He always shows up in the most inopportune times, if you ask me. So he shows up and he saves them again, and then puts them back in their present day, but a little bit earlier. So if you remember back in the other comic books, they found Earth and they woke up Adam and Eve, and this was in the previous series. If you haven't watched those, catch up on IFB. So Elias shows up and says, "Hey, I'm going to drop you back into the future, the present day, but a little bit early." So they're like, okay, so do we discover Earth again, or do we not discover Earth again? Do we make that same mistake that they did? Because when they discovered Earth and they brought the Cylons there, and there was a big mistake, if you remember those in the last series. So they're like, you don't want to make that same mistake. So they're like, no, we're going to do, we're not going to do that this time. We're going to go past Earth. We're going to, the only way we're going to find Earth is if we have more people with us, and we're not going to stop there. So you kind of get this final thing that says, what's our, we don't know our destiny now. What awaits us out there? We still have to discover what became of the 13th tribe. No, Sheba, this isn't the end. Our journey has just begun. And unfortunately, that's the end of the series, and there is no continuation to find out what actually happens. So, one of those people who like to write fan fiction, that would be the place to go from here, because
heck yeah, Professor Eric Padden says, I love the first two Max Press storylines, which is why I was sorry to see it go this way.
Yeah.
However,
this one, I didn't like this one as that much. I admit I didn't like Journey's End as much as I did the other two.
So there's a further comment by Professor Padden. He says, this was a very unfortunate ending to the Max Press series, in my opinion. Basically, it meant that if they'd gone further, they would have effectively retconned the entire series, and everything that happened before in the original series didn't really happen the way we experienced it, unless they planned on doing the retcon later on. So yeah, I was like, imagine that. I'd probably back up and toss out this last story and build off the first two. I agree. Again, we're
I definitely agree, because I didn't like this storyline as much as the other ones.
But all said and done, like everything else, looking back, we are privileged to have any of this stuff. And honestly, when it first came out, when it was on, in the stores, in the comic book stores, and on the shelves, I didn't know what to make of it. Right? I thought it was. I didn't know what it was. I mean, it didn't make sense to me. I looked at the cover and I was like, "This is not Battlestar Galactica." As a matter of fact,
face it, the pictures were a little weird because they look more steampunkish, but I didn't mind them that much. I did like this. You can ignore that too much and look at the storylines of the last couple of ones compared to this one. I think I was okay with the steampunkish look because they're the future.
I picked up, Chris. These are my originals. These are the only ones that I'd ever picked up from this series, and I didn't, like I told you, I didn't even know what to make of it. So I thumbed through these, and I was like, "This is really too bizarre for me," and I didn't even read them. I was like, "This is nuts." But I'm definitely glad that we got a chance to do this. So I was looking through some of my older things in my personal collection, and I found this. I think a lot of you guys out there will enjoy this. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
What do you think of that? Official Battlestar 1 is the only official Battlestar Galactica fan club since 1980. I don't know if that's true or not, but let me open this up for you. Well, it says, look, check this out.
What do you get? You get 1 membership card, a black and white cast photo, intro book, 4 quarterly issues of the Galactica Gazette newspaper, 4 newsletters, and fellowship in B1. Fill out your application now and send it out to Corvallis, Oregon, 97330. Cost is $7?
Oh, I don't know. What does it say? I'm not
$7 US, $15 foreign.
Okay, and there's a name. Here's the president. If anybody knows
it'd be cool to find him.
Yeah, Jim Kingsley, the president of the Battlestar 1, a Battlestar Galactica fan club.
The only Battlestar Galactica fan club, according to that one.
So, Jim, come on the show, man. Let's talk.
We'd love to talk
we want to know all about this. Oh, heck yeah. And this is from, when is it? This is where
1980, you said.
It was, 1980. And it is, where are we sending this to? Yeah, Oregon. So, hey, everybody know him. Let them know that we want him on the show. We want to talk to him about this.
Is that a P.O. box in Oregon?
It is a P.O. box, yes.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Sometimes you can backtrack who buys a specific house and things online. So that's what I did to find.
Okay.
That's what I did to try to find Sharon Monroe. So we found, I found the sales of her house and everything else, but
oh god,
no matter, it sounds like stalking, doesn't it? I mean, it's horrible.
Stalker, yeah, you're a little bit stalker, but
that's nothing that I didn't do to yeah.
So yeah, we'd love to hear from you and talk to you about Battlestar Galactica stuff from 1980, which is right at the time, Yeah. What's the town in Oregon? I will tell you. Where I just put this down, guys? Give me a sec. I put it in my stack. I'll tell you right now. It is Corvallis, Oregon. 97330. Fran wants to know. So, yeah, I found that in my archive. So, replying to Paul, good times for sure. Yeah, John McCartney. All right, John. Jim Kingsley is the AKA of John Coleco's Just Saying. All right, how long did the first official Galactica fan club begin, or Hatch's fan club? Good question, Rob. That's why we'd love to talk to this guy, because now there seems to be battling clubs. And we spoke with, we have an interview that we will eventually get to air, pre-recorded, and it's with Larry Mager, and he was involved in one of the original Battlestar Galactica fan clubs. And according to him, that club, Chris, that he was telling us about, was the quote original.
The official.
The official original.
How many official fan clubs were there at the time? I mean, once again, it was before the internet, so everybody could throw out a piece of paper and say, we're the official one, and nobody could check up on the other person.
That's right. And we're going to have Chris Fian, who's with the 501 and the Empire City Garrison currently. Back in the day, he was involved
with Charlene, right?
Yeah, with Charlene Donatello, one of the original Battlestar Galactica, and their
fan club
group.
Thingies.
Yep, their fan club though, they were the go-to, and so a lot of things that went on in that time period that Chris Fiend was involved was recognized by Richard Hatch, was recognized Universal. There's even an unauthorized book that came out which I have, and I think I showed it off on our show IFB back in the day when we first started, which is like all of a year and a half ago. I say that proudly, but I'll show it to you again. I'll dig it up, and it's a heck of a book, and it's the unauthorized book on Battlestar Galactica, and it's thick like this, and it's really, really cool. So I would love to have these guys get together and talk. There is, Chris, if you remember, there is a guy out on the West Coast somewhere who also had another Galactica club. I don't think it's this guy. And we had a brief connection with him. I don't know. Maybe we can try to see if we can get him on. We tried. We could give it another shot, see if we can get him. But yeah.
And sometimes, you reach out and you try to get a hold of somebody and it doesn't work. So, I mean, we're constantly trying to get a hold of people to hear their stories. So, I mean, for instance, we're working with, I'm trying to get the son of the director for Logan's Run.
Yeah, and it's so difficult. You know what? It's worth mentioning real quick because we're running out of time, but we're going to do the book, the chapter. But there's a lot of scamming going on, and there's a lot of people that ruin it for everybody else. So some of these people that we're approaching are reluctant because there's just a lot of nonsense. So I don't know.
What do you mean you want to hear from me? I'm nobody. I don't know. No, you're not nobody. You're people who create the fandom. You're people whose stories that other people, we would like to document. That's a better way of saying it. So
yeah. Rob, I don't know. Who knows about whether or not they had the first membership kit? I'm not sure. But eventually, maybe
you've got a membership kit, don't you?
Well, I do have. I do have one from the Caprica Society. I also that was another group that sprung up closer to me in New York, and I finally joined them, and I got the ID card and stuff. So Fran is helping us try to track down Jim Kingsley, and so. Cool. Maybe we can find him. Thank you, Fran. So, guys, that brings us to Battlestar Galactica, Armageddon, Richard Hatch book. He wrote that in conjunction with Christopher Golden.
Which we will have on in November-ish.
Yes, later on here, he will be on our show. And Chapter 16, Chris, for the sake of brevity, awesome. Chapter 16 starts with Baltar.
Right, and unfortunately, I think one of the things I do, I don't want to say dislike about the book, I guess that's the best way, is some of the storylines are really far apart. So I want to say the last time we heard from Baltar was, I want to say 8 chapters ago.
It was a while ago.
So Baltar had gotten information from Count Eblee. In that last chapter, about 8 chapters ago, he's got information from Count Eblee. He's got this cube that has all the information in it that says, where the Galactica is, and he wants to go tell Lucifer. And he's been, what do they call it when you're no longer part of the group anymore. So he's incognito. I can't remember the name. He's been pushed out of the command chair, and Lucifer, the IL series, has taken over. And he has to wait in line and permission to come in to see Lucifer. So the last time we heard that he went in to see Lucifer, he saw these black, shiny Cylons that Lucifer goes, what do you think of your children? And then it ends that chapter right then and there. You don't hear anything else until now.
now. And Baltar, so Lucifer unleashes them, and Baltar's like, oh my god, he gets like this weird twisted thought of like because they've been programmed based on his thought patterns, and it's like, like they're kind of like my children, but meanwhile Lucifer unleashes them and tells them to execute him, and they're shooting at him, and he decides the only thing he can do is try to climb up the pedestal to Lucifer and try to work out a bargain of some sort, right? Yeah.
I love the ebony armored Cylon Centurions whose minds have been patterned after his own.
Yeah. And they
can you imagine a Cylon that's patterned after Lucifer? I mean, after Baltar.
Yeah. It's kind of weird because Eric Patton says, doesn't Armageddon tend to forget that Baltar was captured and then freed during the series?
Yes.
Just yes. I'm just gonna.
Yes. That's the easier way to do it.
Yes. But yeah, man. They shoot him. He gets shot. He gets shot in the leg, and he's like desperate, and he's like crawling up to Lucifer, and
please, don't kill me. I know where the Galactica is.
Yeah, and
it's like, yeah, you said that before,
right? Yeah, they're gonna crush his throat, and he's like, I will. I
love the part that it says Lucifer is picks him up almost off the ground with this.
Yeah.
So Lucifer is strong, like all the other Cylons. So it's kind of a neat little idea.
And then and so now he's he says like the only worth you have is if you could give me the coordinates of the fleet, and he says, I know where they are. And
Lucifer's like, yeah, you said that before,
right? But he convinces him though.
Yeah, he convinces him,
and he tells him, I will tell you after we negotiate. So
that's I'll tell you, all right. Baltar agreed, but only when we've concluded our negotiations. Does that not sound like a Baltar move? Yeah.
Yo, that's a great move.
Yeah,
mediocre.
I'll tell you, but let's negotiate.
Sound like Cylons shoot like stormtroopers. Sounds like Cylons who shoot like stormtroopers. Yes. Yes.
All I have to say is Cylons killed Zach. Cylons killed Serena.
Wow, that's like mean, and that's low.
They don't miss.
Wow, that's you're getting nasty, man. So next thing they cut to is go back to the world Ochoa.
So in the past, the other chapter, Starbuck has been. So they thought he was dead, but he's not. He's been captured, just like every other time. Starbuck is supposedly dead. What the hell is it with Starbuck? I mean, he's always almost dead, or they think he's dead, or I mean, wow, really?
Yeah.
So, anyways, they think he thought he's going to die, and he's on Ochoa, and Ochoa's. It's time for Ochoa to become
rip it
small pieces of the world because it's getting ripped apart. So it's time to go, and all the Cylons were smart, and they left, but Starbuck had escaped from the Cylons before they left.
Yeah,
and now he's stuck there.
Their hangar.
Now he's stuck there in the hangar.
In the hangar, and he's looking for an engine part. Because I guess, in his mind, he's going to actually try to...
he knows something about this engine part, which is like...
Yeah. And he's
going to hear about this engine part?
Yeah, he needs it. I think I don't know if it's a fuel pack or a battery pack that's needed in the engine. He needs that to get, I guess, a Raider up and flying.
That's what I thought, but it's not quite what it is.
No. But, however, in the previous chapters, Starbuck is trying to get... he's accessing their computer banks. He figures out that they do use a Kobolian language that is common amongst the colonials.
Cylons and colonials related.
Yeah, man, unknown. But so he accesses the computer, but he's not able to download any of the information because he wants to take some of the information that he sees in the computer banks,
right?
But he can't, right?
Right.
And so after a bit, there's the building itself is everything's shaking loose because there's a massive.
Yep. So
earthquake,
the planet's getting shaken apart because it's getting closer to the sun, and it's just it's dying.
Yes. But what's really cool, so they describe that in some detail, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, though, at this one critical juncture, Starbuck is trying to make his way to the other side of the building. The building like breaks in half, and now there's like this gap, and they he has to get to the other side, and lo and behold, like there's the because the building kind of like just breaks apart. Yeah, Apollo shows up. I was like,
light.
Yes. Yep. But what's also interesting is that as all this is going on, they realize, like Starbuck, who's been, kind of like keeping an eye out on the fact that he was able to access information, they discover that the Cylons have a dimensional phase quantum shift energy generator. How about
because
that?
we're the Cylons, and
we
know more than the Colonials do.
Yeah. So, not only that, they want to try to. It looks familiar. That technology looks familiar, and they identify it as it's part of the Shining Lights, right? And it's like their technology,
right?
And they know who they are. They're part of the what is like the angels, and they're like
13th,
the evolved.
13. I get that confused. They're not the 13th tribe. That's the comic book. They say the 13th tribe.
Yeah. So. But they're like the Lords of Kobol that have like evolved or something.
Right. This one's a Lords of Kobol. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's another little piece of information that they also so Starbuck is able to look at their transmission, the Cylon transmissions, and see that in their quadrant there are multiple base stars.
That's Apollo. Apollo comes down.
Yeah, Apollo comes down, but this is all going on with Apollo.
Right. So Apollo comes down on the the roof opens up. Apollo's there. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Because the ship of light people have kind of guided him there. So he comes down and to help out Starbuck, and like, there's a terminal over here, and it's like, oh well, let's go look at this terminal. And you look at the terminal, and Apollo is the one that finds that there are, hey, I want to find out where all the base stars are, and which one
is Baltar.
Baltar's.
Yeah. But the other thing I thought was interesting, Chris, is that there's two sizes of base stars.
Right.
Like a normal size one and a smaller one.
That was super base star.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we got to talk about, the last, like this other major reveal is the Cylon Holocube star map that shows the original colonies. Yeah. And who has it? None other than
Baltar.
So
Baltar has this, well, because Ebli has given it to him, and now Baltar knows where the Galactica is.
Yeah.
And therefore, Apollo's looking at this computer that tells him all the information. Kind of a plot hole there. But anyways, so, you got this computer that tells him, and they're like, and Apollo's like, it's like, well, let's he's saving Starbuck. He's like, Starbuck's like, well, the only way we're going to find out where the Earth is if we go find that cube. And Apollo's like, yep.
That's right.
And Starbuck's like, oh, no, we're not going to go to the base star and sneak aboard and no.
Steal it.
Yeah, and try to steal it back. No, that's a bad idea. And of course, Apollo's like, oh, it was your idea, so let's go.
Oh boy. Well, that's the long and the short of it, guys. That's the chapter.
Yeah, that kind of ends there. So
Yeah.
Now they're going to go get this cube from Baltar on a base star, sneak aboard. Starting to sound a little bit like the last one.
Yeah. The last episode?
Last episode.
Gods.
Keep saying Lost Planet of the Gods, which is not it.
No, that's not it. That's not it. Come on, guys.
What's the name of the last episode? Oh my gosh. Oh, Hand of God.
Hand of God.
The Hand of God. So
Hand of God.
It's starting to sound a lot like Hand of God.
Yes. So, that leaves us now on the doorstep of chapter 17. And next show,
Yep.
we have...
only just a little bit over half.
20, yeah. But we will have a guest, and the guest is...
Von Babison.
Von Babison.
So next week is the 40th anniversary of The Thing.
That's right. So we're going to revisit the movie with Von Babison. He's going to tell us all about all kinds of cool extra things behind the scenes, and so we're looking forward to that. But hey, thanks everybody for watching, and you guys staying up with us from all over the world, be it Austria or UK or Australia or West Coast, Canada, South America. Good night, Brigitte. Thank you very much for watching with us in Austria. And Paul, thank you for tuning in. Commander Kane. Hey, we love having you on board. Please keep clicking the likes and the thumbs up and all that stuff. And don't forget to go to the other website that we have set up, or the other Facebook, rather. I'm sorry. The Tipsy Toaster Productions. Because that's
Tipsy
where
Toaster Productions and the... I keep saying... The Lost Warrior, but it's the Stranded Warrior.
Yeah. So if you want to contact us, our email is info@interfleetbroadcasting.com. Stay safe. See you at our next show, guys. Stay awesome. Keep the faith. And remember, Chris?
Remember that just like tonight, you are important, and the fans fuel the fleet. So therefore, this is for you. And the fans, we will see you next week. We appreciate everything that you do, and we appreciate the stories and everything else that people create.
Yes, and Paul Evans, thanks for tuning in. Here's to you guys. Take care.
Oh, you get Paul Evans. Yep. Oh, there we go.